Hi everyone and welcome to a new studio vlog and a new week. So it's Monday morning. I literally closed out last week's vlog last night and I thought I would start straight away afresh with you this morning and maybe bring you something a little bit different. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I've been taking part in the March Meet the Maker challenge, where there is a set of prompts and I create content around that every day to give you a little bit of a sneak peek behind the scenes. And last Monday I shared a little post about my Monday routine and how I start the week. And my Mondays are usually always the same, and I thought, why not show you behind the scenes of a Monday and how I use theming my days to get more done, and use a Monday as an example. So this vlog is starting a little bit different because I look like this. Monday mornings go like this. So I get up, I have a shower, I wash my hair, I go and walk the dog. So me and Maggie have had a lovely walk. And on Mondays I wear comfy clothes as a rule. I don't wear makeup as a rule. So I've resisted. And I also bribe myself to start the week with a lovely takeout coffee that I usually make my husband go and get on a Monday. But he's in a meeting right now, so he says he'll have to go in a bit. So standards are dropping around here. And then I focus a lot of my time on a Monday on tasks to do with my Patreon community. And I have found that by doing this, by focusing Mondays on Patreon tasks, I have freed up so much time. I'm so much more productive because I keep my mind in the area of tasks to do with that one thing. I'm not switching backwards and forwards between different things because it's just not productive. It takes us time to kind of get into a flow and a way of working that's quicker and easier. And when we're switching between lots of different tasks, it disrupts that. So if I can kind of chunk things together as much as possible, it really helps me speed up my time flow. Like last week I showed you in the vlog that, you know, I do, when I'm doing a product launch, I do all my photographing together, I do all my editing together, things like that. And then I realised that I'd missed one sticker out and it took me so much longer to go and do all the individual tasks for one thing rather than batching them together into like tasks. So that's what I do. So I thought what I would show you is how a Monday goes. Now usually I would have planned my week on a Sunday, but I didn't do it last night because I had a live stream and I did that instead. So I'm going to start by planning my week and I'll show you how I've kind of themed my days this week and split up what I need to do, and then I will show you what a regular Monday looks like and we'll see how it goes. But first I need to do something with this just to make myself feel a little bit better. So once my hair is like kind of almost dried and it's gone all wavy because I walked the dog in the rain and the wind, I will just make myself feel a little bit more human. So I'm going to do that first. So I'm just somewhat straightening my hair to make myself feel more human. It's not properly done. And then because I feel a little bit naked on camera, I might cheat and put my eyebrows on, which I know is really vain, but like, you know, when you just don't feel like yourself, it's because normally I don't look at myself in the camera on a Monday, and now I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder in the camera and I'm thinking, that lady's got no eyebrows, what's going on there? So I'm just gonna give myself some more eyebrows. Might put a bit of mascara on, but don't normally bother. Not gonna bother about the fact that I've come out in spots overnight. Not gonna bother about the fact that, yeah, everything else that we feel self-conscious about as humans. Not gonna bother. Let's actually go back to work. So this is actually going to be the first week that I try planning my week in my A6 size planner, so let's see how it goes. So this is how this week turned out in my planner, and I have some thoughts because obviously this is the first time that I've used the A6 setup. I really like how it looks. I think mainly I like how the washies look, which is nothing to do with A6, but I actually grabbed this washi off the D-Stash table at the Palentine's event, and so whoever put that there, thank you very much because it's very beautiful. I have reservations about this insert in this size now for me, having tried it. I think I don't need the length, I need the width, if that makes sense. And so I wonder whether I could replicate the same thing but have them shorter and do either I could do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, and have Saturday and Sunday share a slot because I don't tend to use these boxes on a Saturday and Sunday. Or I could do like them half the size and do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday notes. So I might have a play around over the next couple of weeks because that would also possibly mean that I could use standard size width of stickers and not have to constantly trim everything. Yeah, we'll see. I'll have a play around over the next couple of weeks and compare and see what works the best. But to kind of explain what I've done in terms of theming this week, these top boxes here with the bullet points, these are where I tend to put my main work tasks because my big long work to-do list is in Notion and the tasks are allocated to days and given an amount of time. But in terms of my day-to-day planner, I like to see what are the main focuses work-wise for that day, so that it really brings home the priorities of what I should be focusing on. So my main priority for a Monday is Patreon, and then I have the list of individual tasks in my Notion. So in my Notion, it says post the live stream catch-up from yesterday, start vlogging for this week, prepare a podcast, then record the podcast, edit the podcast, and upload the podcast because that'll be coming out on Thursday. So I'll get that all scheduled today. And then I will also be writing the weekly word, which is kind of a behind the scenes news update that goes out each week. And it says what to look forward to that week on Patreon, as well as some kind of sneak peeks behind the scenes of what I've been working on. And then I also need to share the bonus post that I've illustrated as a kind of thank you reward for reaching 20 patrons. That was one of my goals. So the longer to-do list is in my Notion, but I know that I need to look at my Patreon tasks. Then tomorrow I'm going to be focusing on working on a wholesale catalogue. That'll probably take a lot of the day. And then for the rest of this week, I've blocked it out to work on my new Skillshare class. So rather than keep doing bits and pieces, what I want to do is focus on the preparation Wednesday, so scripting everything, knowing exactly what shots I need to get, what I'm going to film, preparing the office for filming if I need to move anything around. Then Thursday will be my filming day, so me talking to the camera and then all the kind of extra shots of me doing different things. And then Friday will be focused on editing the classes and uploading them. And so rather than this be something that goes on and on and on because I have to keep dipping in and out of it, I will do the prep and then go straight into filming while it's all fresh in my mind. I know exactly what I want to get, exactly what I want to say because I've just done all that preparation work. And then the same with editing. I've just filmed it, so chances are if I had to keep re-recording something because I fluffed my lines, I'll remember, and it just makes it easier because I will be solely in that mindset and not kind of dipping in and out of other things. So there'll be other work tasks that come up, but those will be my main focuses for the day. So this is how I've started kind of theming things across the month. So rather than each week, I do kind of the same types of tasks but like a little bit of each, so like a little bit of product development, a little bit on wholesale, etc. I kind of look at what needs doing for the month ahead of time and then I will batch that as long as I can get it kind of all done before the deadline. So I might have a day where I film a couple of YouTube videos that aren't vlogs to release throughout the month, or I might have a day where I work solely on new projects. It tends to be that weeks are maybe around different things, so when I'm producing the Patreon goodie boxes, a large portion of a week will be dedicated to that in terms of designing, making, packing and I will have taken that into account when doing my monthly planning, so that anything else that's kind of scheduled for that to be released that week or the deadlines that week, I will have done it the week before and it'll already be done. So I'm trying to get much more ahead of the game and just work smarter in terms of my time. So it's going well so far. I do intend on doing a video when I've done a bit more trial and error in terms of sharing my Notion setup and how I'm using that to kind of plan my tasks and plan out these projects. But for now, I'm still in the trial and error stage, but it's really working a lot better than it used to. So wish me luck in carrying on with that. So right now, what I'm going to do before I start my Patreon tasks is, because I'm taking part in the March Meet the Maker challenge, I am going to check the prompt for today. I don't think I've got anything scheduled, and put that post together so that that's done, and then I can focus and be solely in that mindset of Patreon without having something distracting me. So let's do that. Okay, so I've done my social post for March Meet the Maker. I've also reposted the live stream catch up to Patreon, and I've also uploaded the vlog, which comes out Tuesday to everyone else, but patrons get it Sunday or Monday. So I wanted to get that up Monday morning, so I've made sure that's uploaded to YouTube and shared it in the Patreon area. So I've started all those Patreon tasks now, which feels really good. The next thing I want to do is work on the podcast. So I want this to be a spin-off from my last podcast, which was about fear of failure. And I recorded it after the previous month's live stream, where I'd come away feeling a little bit disheartened about how it went. And I had decided to be honest about it and record a podcast about fear of failure and run through some things to think about when you're facing those feelings of feeling like a failure. So that's what I did, as well as doing the usual behind the scenes update. And one of my action plans from that episode was that I was gonna go to my business coaching, Indie Roller, and I was gonna ask for some coaching around this issue, because I was kind of feeling like I didn't want to carry on with the live streams anymore, but I didn't want that to be a knee-jerk reaction to having one that I felt hadn't gone as well. So the Tuesday came around, and it was the sounding board, which is a weekly live coaching session, and I put my hand up and asked to be coached live, and I had some really great live coaching from Leona on this issue. And what I have been meaning to do since is actually watch it back and make some additional notes, because it's hard to do that whilst you're being live coached. And there were a load of things that I took away from it, but I think there'd be even more if I watched it back and took notes. So my plan is watch it back and take notes, and then talk about what I learned and what I've done as a result in my podcast. So it's kind of a fear of failure part 2. So I'm going to do that now. I'll rewatch the sounding board episode that I was in. I will make a plan of what I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to go straight into recording the podcast.
Great. Bringing Emma on.
Yeah. Hello.
Emma, I was reading your message in the Q&A box as well as when I was introducing.
Sorry, I've put it everywhere. Yeah. Pick me, pick me.
You're like, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Raising
Before I
hand.
talk myself out of it. Gotta just get in there.
Let's go. What can I help you with, Emma?
So, I run an online stationery business, and all the items are kind of themed around self-care. And one time I did a kind of draw new products with me, design with me, and people seemed to really love it. So I asked for some feedback and I said, right, that's what I'm going to do moving forward. Since then, well, numbers have always been really low. And this last weekend, and there's always a technical issue that I don't know how to solve in the moment. And so I get off every live stream feeling disheartened, where I used to feel excited and energized, and now I just feel like I don't want to do this. And by the time I'd kind of shared all these things, I was already feeling really re-energized about the live streams. My head was kind of buzzing with ideas about future live streams, and I'd had a complete turnaround, whereas I'd kind of come on the call expecting that I would confirm the fact that I was a failure and the live streams would disappear from the schedule because clearly I couldn't do them. I suddenly got all these ideas of ways I could try and share how exciting these live streams can be and how enjoyable they can be with people. I was kind of being really quiet about it in the background and then wondering why it wasn't growing, and I've been sharing on a much more regular basis and sharing about it with genuine excitement because I'm feeling re-energized about it. And since then I gained 6 new patrons, and just like, what a turnaround. So I haven't actually been showing anyone my Notion setup, and so I thought I would give you a sneak peek and I can go through what I've done today. So I have just finished editing the podcast that I recorded. That was really great, so I need to get that up on Patreon. So for each of these I can now tick them off. So posting the live stream catch up is done. So this is how this week looks. For each of the little tasks there is a category, so whether it relates to a project or shop tasks, Patreon, that's all we've got in here, but there are other categories, but that's how I've got it set out for this week. And then there is an estimated time of how long I think the task will take. And that's so when I'm moving things around on my calendar, I can see how many hours of work I'm dedicating to each day. And I don't like to pack it full because there are also other things that aren't scheduled in, like replying to customer messages or like dealing with manufacturers, stuff like that. If I finish things early, then I'll add on some other tasks, like move things forward from next week, for example, or it just gives me a bit of flexibility for my health. So yeah, I don't like to cram it too full, but I can now check off some of these. So yeah, we know what to vlog because I've started it. So yeah, done. Editing the podcast is done. Uploading the podcast is not done. Recording the podcast is done. Sharing the podcast is not done. Preparing the podcast is done. And then writing the weekly word. So I've just got these 3 left for today. So I am gonna upload that podcast now and get it ready for sharing on Patreon, and then finally write my weekly word, which is like the introduction to the week on Patreon and what there is to look forward to, as well as behind the scenes, which I think I already said. So I'm going to upload the podcast to Patreon and get it scheduled for Thursday, because Thursday is when it actually comes out. I'm going to also prepare a graphic for the weekly word, so let's do that.
Okay, I am super happy because I have finished all my Patreon tasks. So I've checked them off in my Notion and I thought I would show you everything that I've managed to get done today. This is what my Patreon page looks like, and I have 3 posts that I've put out today. So we've got the vlog, which is launching the self-love collection, so that'll come out to everyone else tomorrow. So my patrons can watch that already. Then there is the catch-up of the live stream, and like each of these have got the descriptions on them if you open those. And then the weekly word, which is the weekly update that patrons get, and that kind of looks like this. So we've got things to look out for this week, some behind the scenes stuff, and yeah, so all this week there's so much coming out because we've got the early access vlog, the live stream, the video chat poll, which I'll show you in a sec, a bonus illustration, and the podcast. So they know what to look out for this week, and then there's some behind the scenes stuff. So that's that. And then if we click on my scheduled section, which obviously my patrons wouldn't see, you can see that the other 3 posts that are due to go out this week that were on the what to look forward to, I've already done. So we've got the podcast is uploaded here, and there's just a little post from me about why I've recorded the podcast, why I picked this theme, and they can listen along. You can also get that on your podcast apps, which is really cool if you're a patron. And then the poll for the video chat, which will be next Sunday. So I've chosen 3 topics for patrons to pick from, either living with anxiety, ways to show ourselves love, or doing some coaching on achieving your goals. So I can help people think about what goals they want to achieve and break them down in real time and kind of troubleshoot those, which is something a little bit different. And then so patrons will be able to vote on that. And then the last one, which will be coming out tomorrow, is the bonus reward. So as a thanks for reaching 20 patrons, I have designed this illustration, which I think really kind of represents the community and what we stand for. So this is the little illustration here, and this is like the slogan for the community, and I've kind of included it in the banner here because I think it's really nice when patrons are scrolling down like the main page that they see that there's just lots of images that break things up and video thumbnails, and yeah, you can see all the different things on here. That was this month's wallpapers. So yeah, there's loads of stuff on there. So I'm really glad that I managed to get that sorted. And it means for the rest of this week, I can really focus on those other tasks, and the Patreon posts will just trickle out throughout the week on the different days. And all I need to do is keep up with comments, interactions in the Facebook group and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed this as an example of kind of how I organise my diary and plan my work in a way where I can spread tasks across the month and weeks and just try and focus on set projects or set types of tasks on certain days or half days for like bigger chunks of time. And hopefully you can see it's helped me be productive, and maybe you might try it too. So if you have a go at theming your days in that way, let me know how you get on. If you've liked the video, please like it and consider subscribing if you're not a subscriber already. And if you do want to check out my Patreon for all those bonus rewards, then I'll leave the link in the comments below. And as always, I will see you very soon for another video. Bye everyone!